Hello everybody, this is Dee from Dee's Cute and Crafty, and I'm back with another Dollar Tree DIY for you. I have 3 DIYs for Halloween, so you're going to need all 3 of these paints, orange, black, and white for all of these DIYs. You're going to need some of the Dollar Tree pins. I have the ghost and the bat. You're going to need 2 tumbling tower blocks, one of the new Happy Halloween wood signs. You're going to need some of the sparkly branches and this sparkly, glittery witch's hat. And I'm repurposing this broom from another project. And you're going to need one of the Dollar Tree wood rounds and also one of the Dollar Tree cauldrons or little black pots. You get 4 for $1. So I'm starting out by cutting off the tag, and then we're going to get this painted with my homemade white chalk paint. And now that that's all done, we are going to distress it with some of the black chalk paint. Now I'm going in with my gator and we're going to soften everything up. Just brushing off any of that sandpaper dust. Cleaning up the sandpaper dust with my ladybug. Got her on Amazon. And now we're just going to paint everything. I'm going to start out by painting the ghost black. Please leave your pins on the back because we're going to use those to set the pieces up to give them some dimension. So I'm going to start out by painting the ghost black because I need to cover up the word boo and the already pre-printed ghost face. I don't want that on there. So I'm going to paint it black and then paint it white. I've painted my Happy Halloween in black, my pumpkin in the typical orange with the brown stem. I painted the bat black, and I started by going in with my white chalk pen, but it wasn't coming out quite the way I wanted it to, so I ended up going in with some white paint instead. We're just going to paint the ghost white, and you'll see I am going to go back over that bat, the eyes, and the mouth with that white paint. I am distressing the Happy Halloween words. I love distressing anything that is black painted on top of wood. It just looks so pretty when you distress it because that brown undertone comes through. And I really like that. Just going around the mouth of the pumpkin with some black just to give it some definition so you can see it better, make it pop a little bit. These 3 DIYs are super, super simple. They are beginner, crafter friendly, and they are super affordable because it's from Dollar Tree. Sometimes it doesn't have to be a big, elaborate thing to be cute and to be crafty. So I'm just going in with the back of a paintbrush to put the eyes on. And I'm still using the back of the paintbrush to put the mouth on my fun little ghosts. And I did the same with the bat. I used the back of the paintbrush, the handle of it, to put the eyes on. So I have this witch's hat, and I decided not to sand it down. Just go ahead and leave the glitter on there because I kind of like it for this project. I don't like all of the Dollar Tree glitter, but for this project, it's going to be fine. And this was one of those signs that had 2 other pieces on it. I think it said, "Welcome, my pretties," and it said something else. But I just cut off the witch's hat because that was the part that I wanted. I am going in with some wood glue, and then I'm going to go in with some hot glue for that short-term, long-term hold that we like so much. And I'm not worried about the holes in the top of the wood round because we're going to cover them up with the hat. And I left the hanger on the top of the hat because that's how we're going to hang this sign. So I cut in half one of those little black cauldrons, and I am going to secure it with a tumbling tower block. And I did go back in off camera and make that tumbling tower block black so that it blends in with the cauldron and it's not such an eyesore. So I am gluing it to the board and to the cauldron so that the cauldron stands on its own. And I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing with the tumbling tower block for the inside, gluing it to the wood round and to the cauldron to make sure it stays in place. I'm also going to go in and put a little bit of glue on the corners of the cauldron as well. Just want to make sure it stays. And you guys can put inside the cauldron whatever your heart desires. I am going to put in some of those green, sparkly, I think it's called mesh tubing. I just cut a bunch of that up and put it in there to make it look like there's something cooking in the pot, something that a witch would cook because it's green. And I did that off camera. It was an afterthought. And I thought, you know, something needs to be in this cauldron. But I just put them in there. I didn't glue them down. So you can take them out. You can put in spooky flowers or just some really pretty flowers. You can put in whatever you want inside that cauldron. So I'm just getting the Happy Halloween sign glued down. And now this broom, I made this for another project, and that project never came to fruition. I never ended up doing anything with it. So I'm going to use it on this project. And all I did was take one of my old paintbrush handles, because I do save them. And I took some raffia and just folded it over on itself, tied it in a knot at the top, and then stuck the stick down in there, stuck the paintbrush handle down in there, and then put a buffalo check bow on it. And that's how I made that. And it was supposed to be for a different sign, but I never used it, so I'm going to use it now. It works out perfectly for this. So here you see me just gluing in the glittery branches, just laying them wherever I want them. And then I'm going to get my ghost and my bat glued down as well. If you're new to my channel, thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you like this content and consider subscribing. Give it a thumbs up if you like what you see. I would love to have you as part of the Cute and Crafty family. And if you've been here before, thank you so much for coming back. Now see how those pieces sit up? I like that. It gives it some dimension. And I'm just cleaning up some areas with my white paint pen where I got a little bit of black on the ghost because it was on my hand somewhere. So this is the project you see, but in the reveal, you'll see that I added the green inside the bucket. This is DIY number 2. These are super, super simple, using those same 3 colors of paint. And these are some little boxes that I got from the Dollar Tree. We have a pumpkin, a skull, and a ghost. And these boxes open in the back. So they are perfect for putting a tea light in to make them light up. So all we're going to do is paint them and embellish them. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. So I'm just going to take some of my raffia and I'm going to fold it back and forth on itself so that I get a big bow. And then I'll get that glued down after I tie it off. What I really wanted was some Spanish moss, and I have no idea where my Spanish moss is. No idea. I just used it. So that means I need to clean my craft room, you guys, because it's in here somewhere. So I just went ahead and decided to use the raffia. I'm going to make a stem with one of my wine corks, and I'm going to use just a small piece of this leaf. And we're going to glue everything to the top and then cut the loops off of the raffia and kind of just fluff that up, and it'll give me the look that I'm going for without my Spanish moss. Now for the skull, we're going to go ahead and add some of those crossbones that I have, and I call them crossbones because I crossed them. We're going to add some of those skeletal bones that I have left over from a previous DIY. There was a ton of them in the bag, and I only used a few on the last DIY, so we're going to be using some here today on this DIY. And that's going to finish off this box, and we'll move on to the ghost box. And for the ghost box, all I'm going to do is make a buffalo check bow. And we're going to call this project done. All right, you guys, that is it for this DIY. Moving on to DIY number 3, and it is the last one. Just showing you guys that the boxes do open from the back to slip in a battery-operated tea light. This is another super easy project. This one we're not going to use paint. I opted out for the paint and decided to go with fabric. So I have one of these Dollar Tree signs again that I'm repurposing. I started out using it. I sanded off some of the glitter, then decided, no, it's not what I want. And I set it aside and never went back. And then for this picture frame, I already took the hardware off of it and sanded it down and then didn't use it either. So these two are made for each other. I'm going to use them together to make this little tabletop sign. I am repurposing or using the rest of my scraps from when I made the witch's hat. If you have not checked that video out, please go over and check it out. That witch's hat came out so cute, but these are the leftover witch stockings from that DIY. And also that black mesh is left over from the witch stockings from that DIY. So instead of painting a border around my frame, I'm just going to put this fabric on there. If you don't have fabric, you definitely can paint it or use some ribbon. Any ribbon of choice will do. I'm just trying to use up my scraps, you guys. I hate to waste. And if I can get something cute out of it, why not? Just going to cut that tag off and place that in the middle of the picture frame using some hot glue for this one. And I'm not at all concerned about the hole in the top of this sign because we're going to cover that up with the bow. You guys knew it was coming. Got to do a bow. So I'm taking some of this black and white buffalo check ribbon and I'm just going to pinch together this black mesh. Well, I'm going to pinch it together again. And I'm going to make a bow, and we're going to glue that bow to the center of the pinched together black mesh and get it glued to the sign. We're going to call it done. Again, these were so simple, so easy. Anybody can do them, and they're super cute. This sign would be nice on a tiered tray or just sitting next to one. Either or, it would work out just fine. Any of those little boxes that light up would be awesome on a tiered tray as well. And the sign, you can hang that up anywhere. So I'm just taking some hot glue, putting it where that hole is, and laying that ribbon right across. No spackle needed. And that is the end of this DIY. So let's do the reveal. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye. Craft something beautiful.